Hey, Dreamy here, long time no see, and I knew I had to make a video about this. It's talking about the new Daima characters from Dragon Ball Legends, namely Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta and Super Saiyan 4 Adult Goku, which is insane. Obviously caught me way off guard, wasn't expecting it all. Obviously, it's to kind of coincide with their appearances in the show in Dragon Ball Daima, but I'm obviously not expecting to see these characters release so early on. It barely took them any time to actually drop a character like Super Saiyan 4 Goku right away, despite the fact that the show only ended like a while ago, right? The rapid pace here is really surprising. Just to say it like it is, right? I did not see even Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta coming. Oh, shit! And that was already a surprise, right? To see this guy, his adult form, by the way, not mini Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, but adult Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, just released like that. That was already shocking. But then the devs decided to follow up with this guy right here, adult Super Saiyan 4 Goku, out of nowhere, which really caught me off guard. And this video goes over the reasons as to why this is actually not a good thing, and it's actually pretty horrible timing when you're talking about these hype Dragon Ball Daima characters. To treat it fairly though, it's obviously not an entirely bad thing. To start off, the fact that these characters were released so early on means that, you obviously capture the hype for Dragon Ball Daima. Right away, as you see the edits on Instagram, there's Super Saiyan 3 transforming to Super Saiyan 4 with Goku. You know the one that I'm talking about. You see the one if you are on Instagram, right? And when you see that, and then you realize that this content is already available right away in Dragon Ball Legends, there's obviously that massive allure for people who aren't really exactly part of the Dragon Ball Legends player base at the time. It's definitely really enticing to actually start playing, and who knows, maybe start re-rolling accounts and actually get Super Saiyan 4 Goku, especially if you're a fan of the form and you finally see it become canon with Dragon Ball Daima. So it is a pretty clever strategy to kind of attract new players just by having these hype characters release right away as they appear in the anime. And on top of that, these characters are actually properly made. We can take a look at their animations, and it's pretty fair to say that these characters' animations are really well put together. You can really see how it wasn't made in a rush, and there was definitely effort put behind the animations in making sure that, obviously the characters looked good. That high quality animation to top it off with that early release date, I think the two really work together super well, because that means that you're going to get a really good Super Saiyan 4 Goku right off the bat, just right away. You don't even have to wait to get animations like this that are really loyal to the source material, to the actual anime. And on top of that, the characters' kits are also pretty decently made. To be honest, they're pretty basic, and if you want me to make a review video on them, I'd love to. Just make sure to leave it in the comment section down below. But personally, I do think that these characters' kits are extremely basic, not really introducing anything new, and more reusing, recycling a lot of the abilities that we've already seen in the past, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but that obviously points to the fact that if these characters were released in a different point in time, if they were just delayed for just a little bit longer, they could have actually had the chance to have much more updated kits that are much stronger, kits that actually change and define the meta in many ways. These guys don't. They just follow the current that's already existing in the current game, which isn't exactly a good thing, especially if you're a low-spending free-to-play player who can't really summon on every character there is and have to rely on those meta-defining characters. Those are the ones that you have to rely on when you want to know where you're going to be spending your Chrono Crystals. Unfortunately, neither of these guys are really game-changing, especially with like Super Saiyan 4 Goku as a personal complaint. The fact that his Indestructible is locked behind two Daima characters, I think it sucks, and it hinders the character, especially when you compare him to like Goku and Bardock, who have their Indestructible with no restrictions. Well, anyways, let's move away from the kits here and talk about the fact that in terms of the mobile game competition sphere, this obviously means that Dragon Ball Legends is paced significantly ahead in comparison to Dokkan, right? The latest Daima character that Dokkan has would be a Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, the mini version, and they're only releasing Perfect Cell, I believe, as a Dokkan Fest. So obviously this Dragon Ball Legends is just far ahead, and they've actually cemented that position a while ago, ever since Dragon Ball Super Hero, because Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Beast Gohan, in my opinion, they do share similar positions, being that really hype final character on a piece of Dragon Ball content as an IP that's like very, very recent. So the fact that Legends has been consistent in adapting those characters, those really hyped characters, immediately into the game faster than any other game, in my opinion, by a pretty close margin, especially considering that it is a mobile game. It is actually really impressive, and props to the devs to be able to keep up with such a pretty grueling pace. But it's obviously not an entirely good thing, and that's what this video is supposed to talk about. First of all, these characters aren't dropped on a massive celebration, like I said before. That is actually not a really good, that's not a very good thing, because again, usually the big events, those big celebrations, are opportunities for you to actually make certain characters, especially the headliners, be exceptionally meta, to change the game in big ways. And because these guys are on like a Daima campaign, the odds of that happening are really small, and we can see it directly in the characters' kits. The fact that they aren't really impressive, and sure, they push the envelope in terms of damage inflicted buffs and other effects that are not normally seen as base effects for a character. You see that with a character like Super Saiyan 4 Goku, which is nice. But again, it's just recycling abilities that we've already seen in the past, so it's nothing new. And obviously, I think that would have been different had it been a big celebration like Legends Festival or an anniversary. Because if that was the case, well, we would have probably seen Super Saiyan 4 Goku with more unique animations. Same thing goes for Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta as well. It depends on Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. It's not exactly the same thing. But especially for Super Saiyan 4 Goku, he could have had like a much stronger kitting compared to this one, because this is not as strong. Like, it's just, to say it like it is, sure, he has a type neutral ultimate arts, and he could have had this even if he was dropped during a massive celebration. But I think the fact that he was released in such an awkward point in time, it hinders his potential to actually to have those meta-defining abilities like a character from Legends Festival or Anniversary would. On top of that, this also means that a lot of the big characters for Dragon Ball Daima have actually been expended, right? If you look at it, we have obviously a base mini Goku, we have Glorio. Let's see if we can find him here. This is obviously going to be a pretty grueling search. Do I actually have Glorio? I think I do. Okay, and then we also have Majin Ku, Majin Du. You obviously have Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta and Super Saiyan 4 Goku, which leaves... and Super Saiyan Goku, I almost forgot about this guy. That only leaves characters like Super Saiyan 2 Goku, the mini version, Super Saiyan 3 Goku mini as well, mini Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, as well as mini Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and Goma, but I don't know how they're gonna make that work. But, you know, technically he's still a character, he does fight, so if they're gonna make animations for him, I think that's fair. And unfortunately, I don't think any of those characters are really as hype as this guy, right? This is Daima peak right here, and he's already dropped, so every other Daima character who's going to release moving forward, I doubt would be anything nearly as hype as this guy, which didn't even get a reveals and stuff. He just got like a random, regular reveal kind of PV video on the Bandai Namco YouTube channel, which is a pretty lackluster, despite the fact that it's a pretty hype character, and I'd imagine a lot of people are actually anticipating his release, or at least anticipated his release when it was already teased a while back. And at that point, you start to think like, why do I need to summon for this guy? His LF is already out. Wouldn't it be better to just wait for the Ultra? Right? Because if you think about it, if you like animations, if you like character animations, and you are a collector not for the sake of having every character, but to have a character who represents an iconic moment, why do you need to summon for this guy? If you really think about it, there's going to be an Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Goku from Dragon Ball Daima. That's not even a question. But the thing about that is, he'll probably be much cooler than this guy. Right, imagine his intro animation would be the Super Saiyan 3 Goku, his adult version, taking off his gi, just shouting and his eyes turning red, and transforming into Super Saiyan 4, and he does that stance where the camera angle goes from the bottom going upwards, and you can really see his fists. That dude, I would just summon for that, to be honest, because there's a lot of aesthetic value there, and most likely whenever that character drops, he's probably going to be dropping on a big celebration like Anniversary, like Legends Festival, because an Ultra that hype actually deserves a big celebration. And in that sense, that character is probably going to have a really meta-defining kit. It's going to change the game in a pretty big way, similar to Ultra Gohan Beast. Hopefully not really altering the meta in too big of a way, but certainly adding aspects to the game that weren't there before, and making a kind of shift in how players would normally play the game, because the Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Goku just entered the meta. And that completely overshadows this guy, right? Ultra Beast Gohan and the first Beast Gohan to ever release, the blue one, are two completely separate units, and you can't really compare the two because one is clearly better than the other. After some time has passed, the meta has changed, finally the Ultra drops, and it's a completely different story for the character. And so if you really want a Super Saiyan 4 Goku, why don't you just wait for the Ultra version? Because, I mean, he's going to release eventually. And in terms of other LFs, I mean, sure, I might have said that, you know, some other characters aren't as hype, but you can obviously have Super Saiyan 3 Mini Goku transform, revive into Mini Super Saiyan 4 Goku, which would be a pretty cool character as well. But all I'm saying is that Super Saiyan 4 Goku was released at a pretty bad time. It was really awkward. Both of these characters, to be honest, in this campaign, these are bad release dates, and it's not very strategic because, well, it does have some positive aspects to it, right? It does invite new players to join the community as well, to join in on the Daima hype, and it does also show a Legend's ability to kind of keep up with the latest Dragon Ball content, you know, with the anime and what have you. That's obviously a good thing, but it also wastes opportunities for bigger events, right? You could have dropped Super Saiyan 4 Goku the LF on a bigger celebration like Anniversary. They just decided to drop it on a random Daima celebration. It's not random, okay, but the timing does kind of suck, especially for a free-to-play player like me, for low-spending players like some of you possibly, where, you know, you don't really have all the money in the world to spend on a banner that's timed so poorly, and you don't have the Chrono Crystals either because you're not ready, you haven't saved up nearly as much. You only save up for Legends Festival and Anniversaries, where the really meta-defining characters are going to drop. This character releasing right now is obviously it's just bad timing overall, and I think it also becomes a reminder for free-to-play and low-spending players that there are bigger things to come, right? This is not the last Super Saiyan 4 Daima Goku that we're going to see, and every single one that we're going to see moving forward is most likely going to be much better than this guy, not just in terms of kits, in terms of abilities, but also in terms of animations. And that means that this Super Saiyan 4 Goku's value is only going to go lower and lower as time goes on until he gets like a platinum equipment, which is still years into the future, I would imagine. But yeah, that's my take on the new Daima characters' release dates. Obviously, I'm kind of opposed to it. Maybe it's a positive thing to see these characters drop so early. So let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy this video, if you enjoyed my breakdown of the situation and my assessment of it, and make sure to subscribe so that you're notified whenever I drop a brand new video. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for this one. Bye, thanks for watching, never stay perfect, always get better. Peace.